SNP MP Chris Law swore, while Sir Keir Starmer went in hard on Rishi Sunak over the school's concrete crisis.
The truth is, this crisis is the inevitable result of 13 years of cutting corners, botched jobs, sticking plaster politics. It's the sort of thing you expect from cowboy builders, saying that everyone else is wrong, everyone else is to blame, protesting they've done an effing good job, even as the ceiling falls in. The difference, Mr. Speaker, is that in this case, the cowboys are running the country. Isn't he ashamed that after 13 years of Tory government, children are cowering under steel supports, stopping their classroom roof falling in?
Of course, probably just a gentle reminder that some of the buildings will have been built under the last Labour government, but there we go. OK, the Prime Minister came out swinging and reminded the Leader of the Opposition of a nickname that Boris Johnson used on many occasions.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this is exactly the kind of political opportunism that we've come to expect from Captain Hindsight over here. Before today, he's never once raised this issue with me across this dispatch box.
I do actually think, for what it's worth, that was a really poor answer. The idea that the Leader of the Opposition has never at any point raised this massive catastrophe that we've been sitting on and keeping quiet about for the best part of 13 years. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great answer, is it? I mean, I was surprised he didn't raise Jeremy Corbyn again. Let's cross now to Westminster and speak to GB News' political editor, Christopher Hope. I'm not sure the public were the winner from that Prime Minister's questions, Christopher. However, Keir Starmer going in strong over cowboy concrete.
Yeah, I like that, the idea of cowboy builders. He's talked about cowboy ministers running the country. I mean, the bits are falling off government buildings, and guess who's been in charge for the past 13 years? The Tory party. But you're right, of course, Patrick. It's a cross-government issue going back to the mid-late 90s, 4 warnings through the early 2000s to Labour Party. But then they tried to grip it, but they had this Building Schools for the Future programme, Labour did. That was reduced by Michael Gove when he was Education Secretary, because, as the PM reminded Mr Starmer today in the House of Commons, many of those it excluded 80% of the schools, and it was driven by ideology, as the PM said. So I think what I thought was quite fascinating was how Sunak came out fighting with some actual stats to knock back the days of criticism which the government has correctly taken from Labour. I wonder why that support wasn't there for Gillian Keegan when she was fighting the fire earlier this week.
Indeed, and we've had the full list now of all of these schools. What do you make of Rishi Sunak's remark then that, you know, this is political opportunism from the Labour Party, and that he hasn't once raised it with me over this dispatch box? Yeah.
I mean, that was a bit thin, really. I think there was a complaint to the Speaker about that, because there have been times when Labour has raised it. But yeah, I mean, you can say that, and it wasn't really opportunism. This is a big now national crisis, which has no ending. I asked the PM spokesman after Prime Minister's questions today, when will this end? Because during his exchanges, Mr Sunak did say that they can put remedies in place within weeks. But I said, well, what is weeks? Is it end of October? They wouldn't say. There's no timeline on the end when finally children at home can get back into school, and that is the real victims here.
No, exactly, and that is it. And as long as we do have children off school and we do have a serving government, it will always come down. Yeah, it will always come down onto the responsibility of the government, especially if they've been in charge for 13 years. And Christopher, can I ask you a question? You know, you've been in the game a heck of a long time there, right? You've been in the game a heck of a long time. You've seen them all come and go. You know your way around Westminster. Is there just a little bit of a stench of death around the Tory party at the moment, do you think?
Yeah, there is a death rattle, if that's what you're asking for. I mean, I think in a sense that it does seem that the Tory party spent their meeting, the top Tory party ministers, the Cabinet, were meeting yesterday to discuss collapsing buildings on their watch, while Keir Starmer got together his gang and talked about new ideas to run the country. So I think there's a feeling of And that's a problem that the PM has got, Mr Sunak. I know they are planning a major reshuffle after the party conferences in October, before the King's speech in early November. And that'll be his chance to bring up these new people elected in 2019 to almost try to reinvent the Tory party for the 21st century. The Tory party is like a snake, Patrick. It sheds its skin and moves on. It sheds leaders like snakes shed their skin, and that's what they'll be doing, not shedding the leader in this sense, but shedding the top team around Sunak and bringing new faces, new names. And that's a challenge for Starmer. He's got a 6-week head start on that, but I do expect full battle to be joined between these two teams who want to win the next election in early November.